The interfacing system that is the English alphabet that's sent from benevolent beings who live in outer space, it holds keys to our perception. If you wish, if you would like, and it's kind of like, well, this is eventual. If you would like to graduate and, in effect, like, get out of hell, which, now, a lot of us are here, and it's kind of hellacious. We have our certain thing pending about that, about as far as what the hell are, are we learning anything here? I know it's not Sunday anything, but hang on for a minute. But see, knowledge. Now, it's not knowledge. It's just like, okay, so, well, it would be if we can write it down and hand it over to people. That's what knowledge is past tense, some way that we write it down. Knowing is what it has been born out of, right? It's somebody's experience it's an actual experience beyond words. It's knowing. And that's something that you have access to. See, that's the thing that our buddy Christ Jesus would say, or any good mother, in case you have a human apparatus and you're connected to something here, maybe. Maybe there's a simple equation, maybe there's simple math, maybe there's a simplicity to it that, pardon me, it's equivalent to say, okay, now listen to the sound universe. It's very simple, right? What is that pointing at? And I admit, it sounds like one sentence, or like if you know about a chorus, it's one chorus. Like, what is the verse? Same as the first. Una. Una, doesn't that mean like singular? Or it could mean unique. No, otherwise you'd see unique. It would be unique verse. Una, it means like unit, one. So, and verse, man, whew, I'm all for it. And it keeps pointing back at what one thing. If you have a verse, like if you have a word, what will it do for us? Well, I hope that it's going to be pointing at something that's here that is far more superior, called, it could be that connection that we have as, I was going to say bots, but we are PCs, actually. Our whole entire bodies and the way that it interacts with the plasmatic field, which is outer space. And of course, there's this amazing array of floaty things that we would call the truth, which is the physical world, matter. It all coming into being is not a mystery if we can look at, say, an equation. Now, I just flashed to, let's put a song together. Let's make it sound like a song, or maybe it sounds like a song. Because if it was like, geometry works, babes. And that's what music is. And, the universe doesn't really, we don't really see, it doesn't really point at that multifaceted possibility that there is, say, behind, that, they've found within one structure is all structures, mathematically, right? What is it? I don't know. Look it up for me. There's the Platonic solids, the tetrahedron, situation where it's like everything can be held in that field, because that field, what is it? Is, well, they say it's the flower of life. It looks like this, and, well, never mind what they've always marked as a symbol pointing at atoms, which we don't really know what that is, because Einstein says that, I like talking about this stuff, by the way. It's better than entertaining the misery of the world called narcissists, who, they think I'm making this shit up right now and that I'm crazy. It's like, no, I could actually sit down with just a few people. Nassim Haram is on it. They're figuring out, through, if it was to manifest, that we figure out that we are able to resonate. That word, for me and for everybody, it is going to become like the forefront. It's kind of funny, because the forefront of last year was gaslight. And it's like everybody started to know what gaslighting meant. Well, that's like the opposite of resonation. If you really think about it, if you know about frequency and vibration, and now what are you? Well, first of all talking and all wording is a gaslight. It doesn't matter what equation you find. It really doesn't matter what symbolism and equation that I think I've found. The way that it's going on and the way it's happening is happening whether or not those symbols are there or not. See, we happen to be, I think, as human PCs, with this major problem. We have this bulb right here, and somehow they have to get going. It has to, like, collaborate. The states both, for whatever reason, it's separated. And now we have to do something. There's higher learning to do tools to be able to get some of your brain going, firing at the same time, interacting instead of working against it. It's now understanding something, which is huge to think about. I mean, think about that thing. We don't really know what's going on, man. The scientists are saying, through resonation, and that's just, as a musician, I know what that is, and I'm going to. I've been practicing resonation for all my life. You can find the tone, and tone, getting back to the una, means one. I mean, there's the word one in it. And if you were to break down the word note, also, that's the word that makes sense in there. It's weird. Note might not even be something we need to bother with. We can get rid of that and just call it tone. Note could be a lie, right? We don't know. I was just looking at, like, okay, so thanks for listening to this, by the way. Did you smoke your weed and take deep breath and kind of tune the world out, drop out a little bit, and just, if anything, if this sounds interesting to you, getting back to knowing, it's your experience that resonation may or may not happen. I mean, it is your experience as being here, that, you're going to acknowledge something. That acknowledgement, sometimes you just can't go back when it happens. It's like, that's the truth. I feel it throughout my entire core, no matter what. My mind is, you have to learn to change that puppy. In fact, a good mind is one that is changing all the time, constant, just move out of the way and find out how you found out. What is to find out? And it wasn't even what is being found out. And you are connected to whatever you need to know already. That's where there's practices, and even, like poetry, to look into how something is said. That's, it's something to think about, because that's what's been taken away from society more and more. You don't find good literature. that is constructed in such a way that it takes your mind. What was the name I heard the other day? Something like mental. The way that an alchemist, what they're doing is they're changing your mind. Um, you know, the way that I just thought about it is like kneading it or massaging it. If it's now back to resonation, you couldn't really make a real difference in somebody, say like in learning and growth and through growth, if it was resonating, unless it was resonating with the truth. You are going to say something that only your heart's knowledge or knowing experience had already picked up on. Now, who's going to tell it to you? Who can say it? But see, that resonation, it's not found independently in other people telling you. You already know. See, why? Why? You already know. There isn't no word such as no, babes. The K is silent. Now, why did it change to no when it's still now? A mistake, slurring. There's all kinds of possibilities of mistakes and slurring happening. People don't even get the real meaning of that word anymore because they went to ow instead of o, or they went to o instead of ow. And it's like, can we do the math again? Can we just do the math? Just like a 3-year-old can understand. Yeah, no, if you take the K away, it's still now. It's not no. If you took the W away, it's no. The W inside the equation in old W is now. Just because there's a K there doesn't change that. The K is silent, by the way. What happened? I'm getting close to seeing what's happening here. Sam Vaknin said something about it. And you can't, it's a mathematic equation for sure. So getting back to resonation, just that's the only thing that's going to move you further into what's really going on, which is heavy duty mystical. If you want to call it a cartoon, go ahead. But knowing the fact that atoms, we don't know what that is either. We don't really know. It's not solid. It's not a solid. Einstein says, well, they're 99.99% unsolid. What they are is what it is light. It's not a they. After a while, it's not a they. It's a, well, it's the air is full of atoms through which we can end up somewhere else in time. That's what Carl Sagan says. It's like space is not empty like you think. Talk about resonation and alignment and stuff like this. If we get it into our perceptions, which is really our imaginations and how our brains are allowing us to interact with this place based on, okay, you can call it knowledge. But really, you need to be turned on to your programming. What are you involved with here, right? And it's like, what's happening? What's happening? Well, your mind, plainly, can get right in the way. And there are organizations out there that are hot on the tip of that. Now, the first thing you got to do is separate each other out and get them playing this game of mind game. Plain and simple. And let's make them believe that we're just chugging into what we call progress and civilization. And it's like, no. It's bad enough that the universe itself, we suspect, and when I say we, there's a few of us on this planet here. We are ascending masters, Buddha, Jesus, whatever you want to call them. Not Jesus. Christ is the world. Jesus, babe. I sat next to one in school, and then I noticed they work at the 7-Eleven a lot. You can call him Jesus, whatever. So does Jose. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of the name. But what makes history and what vibrates and resonates is a Christ. And people go, ooh, and what do? They're not popular. They're held on a cross somewhere now. Like, just wave it around like a wand. You know, what is it? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's also a television or your social media. Maybe no, not even, not especially not TV. And those that have been brainwashed and can't even think on their own. What the hell is the possibility of what this thing is? What is for us? For us, well, you have been fed and you have been led. You know, it's amazing that something knows precisely what I'm talking about. As far as this interfacing system sent from outer space, one of the simple ways to get our perceptions back, programmed back into, I would say, okay, so there's an organism. Now, it is global, who has to learn the English language, right? Why? The English alphabet, it's very important. Really, that's what it is. But it's about the spelling. It's not about the wording. That has been completely missed, as well as the use for money. Why? How? There is an enemy that's not spacebound. We're trying to do something here. It's an experiment, and there's a fucking hijacker and a parasite that says, yeah, let's take that idea and let's make sure they don't know. According to what, Shauna? How do you know? Well, we're not, we don't know. We don't know. They feed us fucking history. You have to connect yourself up and fucking get awake. Wake up and start thinking for yourself. How does that even make sense? Many, many things. It is kind of overwhelming, yeah. It is. Getting back to, the beginning of this video where I was trying to expose, like, if you really saw, my chickens are, I think it was just a good morning for her, I guess. Anyway, if you really go, let's talk about the chicken. Let's talk about the symbol of the one with knowledge when you really know. I'll put it on the cover of this particular video. And what is that though? What is it? What is it? You're just a receiver. You're just a something that is in full connection. Now, what is it to really know? Now, what is it to really know? As an apparatus, just a freaking fully connected, within and without, includes your skeleton. Your skeleton may have, and you don't know, but it may have the more profound part in all of your communications within your body, right? It's holding all the flesh and everything. I mean, it's your skeleton. I'm trying to point out, okay, so you could be an antenna. You're just a freaking machine. How about that? You have such sentimental value behind your flesh and the history of blah blah, and it's like, no, you are an intersection within a grid of countless intermingling strata. If you could fucking try to explain that. Sam Vaknin said it the best as like, you just go out in the wilderness and contemplate your own biology. You can get past that. See where true knowledge would lie is just, oh my God, you're going to vacate the sledge out of your head. And you're not going to appear very human. But really, it could be completely, totally human. Like at those times when they're depicting the symbol of the god of knowledge on the Egyptian walls, How were the Egyptian walls made? That's what we were then. Resonating with the truth about things. Do you see my that pot right there? That's my oatmeal, and it's singing to me right now. It's saying, "Stir me up." Pardon me while I go stir it. But do you hear what I'm saying? And it's not even Sunday. See, I'm here to tell you, breathe. All of your power is in your breath. There's a lot of other things we can get into. Of course, you want to have your day, and then get your daily bread on, and then learn how to have sex.